Adwina, and this is my Lab 9 project. I built a fencing robot. So the way it works is it takes in the sensor readings from these 4 sensors and then directs the motor to move to the angle corresponding to where the hit was detected. So looking at my circuit, it's pretty simple. So all the sensors and the motors are connected to ground and power. And then the 4 sensors, of course, are read in by the 4 digital pins 4, 5, 6, and 7 for the right arm, right leg, and left leg, respectively. And then the digital pins 2 and 3 are used to send the highs and lows for the pulse width modulation for the 2 servo motors. So turning it on. And then turning processing on. All right, so this is for a right arm hit. As you can see on processing, the eyes change from circles to X's to see that it's dead, and then it shows the place that was hit. All right, and then going for the left arm, the right leg, and the left leg. And then I added one for when both arms detect something. You can see that in the processing as well. Then looking at my code, starting with the Arduino code. So here are the variables. I kept them outside the setup, so they were global. Then the 4 sensors are read in here, right below the void loop. Then here is the logic. So looking at the both arms up, for example, it checks if both the right arm and left arm have been hit or are high, and then directs it to perform the both arms up function I made, and also sends over the serial monitor that both arms are up, which is then sent to processing. So looking at the both arms up function, so first the timing logic, the current time is recorded using micros, and then the timing logic so that the time interval stays at 20,000 milliseconds, which is the period for the servo motors. Then the right motor pin is moved 160 degrees and the left is moved 20. So I figured out these angles just by trial and error, which is most corresponding to the area that was hit. Then the are returned to the neutral position. Then looking at the move servo function. So here I use this function for all of my motions. So it uses the angle that was entered and maps it to a pulse width modulation using the period that was figured out in the servo lab, so about 530 to 2300. So the pulse width modulation is for the signal is first set low, then it's paused, and then it's set high. And then that high duration lasts for however long the pulse width that was calculated in the mapping function was, and then it's set low again, and then that last delay is to make sure that it stays at the 20,000 seconds by subtracting the pulse width from the overall period. Then below that you can see the return to neutral position. And then looking at my processing, so that is also pretty simple. So originally all the body parts are white, and then the data is read in, and then here is the logic. So this is for the color part. Right after they're all assigned to be white, if any of them is hit, the area turned to set, and then obviously with the both arms up, both of these are assigned so that they both turn red. And then for the drawings themselves, all the body parts are ellipses, and also the eyes are ellipses. And then here's more logic for the eyes. So they turn to X's to signify that they're dead if they're hit. And I created these using lines. Again, it uses the if else statement. So if it's hit, then the ellipse is taken out and the X replaces it. Right. Yeah, so that was my Lab 9 project. Here's a closer view of my robot. Thank you.